Carter Blau, also known as Blue. The next up, we have to introduce Caden. Like I just said, we were rivals once. He's a little bit older than I am, but he grew up in Forest Hills. I just remember my junior year, he didn't really have a good training situation, so he sought out the nearest room, which was Lowell, and he would come in and get practices in for the state tournament because Forest Hills really didn't have the best training situation. Over the past 2 years, I've spent with him. One thing that really sticks out to me is how selfless he is. We keep talking about fish, but I think this guy is a true representation of our core values fish. He's a man of bold faith, a great leader. Most days in the room, if you need a good vibe or someone to lift you up, this is the guy. He's running around the room, making jokes, always positive. I don't know the full story of why he came back this year, but I know I'm sure he had every reason to call it quits, and he chose to come back and give it one last run. And I think that says a lot about who you are, and you embrace challenges even when they're not easy. I think I saw that firsthand when I took you hunting. So, to preface the story, all fall, Caden was begging me to take him hunting. So finally, I gave in. I gave him some venison. I was like, this will shut him up. No more asking me to go hunting. It didn't work. So it was late January. It was after January practice. He asked me again. I didn't know you could even shoot a deer January 23rd, but he bothered me enough that we ended up going January 23rd. I think it was the coldest day of the year. It was negative 20 something, and I get him all geared up. He looks like he's 280 pounds. We're walking out there. I think we lasted an hour and a half, something like that. It was super windy, but I think that sums you up, Caden. Head first into whatever you're doing. Although I feel like you created an end exactly how you wanted. We're all extremely proud of who you've become. A man of bold faith, a great leader, and someone who always puts others before himself. And of course, the worst coordinated player of all time. Give it up for Caden.
Thanks, John. I appreciate that. All right. First off, I just wanted to start off by thanking my family, my mother Bonnie, my father Derek, my grandparents, and my younger siblings Blake and Paige. I also want to thank my beautiful girlfriend Michaela. You've had a front row seat to this crazy ride here at Grand Valley. Just thank you for always being my biggest cheerleader. I love you all so much. I also want to thank my coaches, Brad and Big Dan Anderson, Mitch Herniak, Nick Mason, Cody Dennis, and RJ Boudreau. I could not have handpicked a better group of men to guide me through my 15-year wrestling journey. I also want to thank my teammates. I love each and every one of you. I've been so blessed to be a part of your time here at Grand Valley. I also want to give a special thank you to Caden Strong. I've never beaten up someone as much as I have him, and man, did I beat him up. All jokes aside, I've been really fortunate enough to really be able to pour into Caden, and I can only hope that you can do the same for somebody else going forward. I just want to take this time to talk about my time at Grand Valley because I've been fortunate enough to spend the last 5 years of my life here. As most of you know, this program is only in its third year as an official NCAA team. So I was fortunate enough to be able to wrestle 2 full years on the club team and get to meet some amazing people doing that. This set me up to have a profound sense of gratitude, not only for the amazing facilities that we have here at Grand Valley, because the difference in pulling out your mats every day compared to the room we have now still blows my mind. My gratitude extends to the faculty and privileges that are available to the student athletes. Services like the Laker Academic Success Center, the Fuel Hub, weight room staff, tailored workout plans, as well as the team of athletic trainers here are incredible. We are blessed to have them. Like Carter alluded to, 1 year ago today, I was convinced I was done wrestling. A combination of injury and burnout led me to believe that I was done with the sport I've been playing for the majority of my life. I'm convinced that God worked a miracle to get me here today. The stars aligned. I had an opportunity to spend my last year of eligibility under the coach from the next town over, who I've known for years. And for the cherry on top, Cody, who I've known since he moved to Michigan from Nebraska, was along for the ride. I'd be a fool not to do it. I'm going to briefly summarize for the sake of time a passage, Matthew 25:14-30, the parable of the talents. I kept finding myself thinking about this passage as I wrestled with the thought of competing one final year. The passage talks about a man and his servants. The man entrusts talents of gold to each of them. For the first he gives 5, for the second he gives 2, to the last he gives 1. The first goes out and makes 5 more. The second goes out and makes 2 more. But the last is scared to lose what the man gave him and buries it in the ground out of fear. When the man comes back to settle his accounts, he says to the first and second, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you were faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come share in your master's joy." But the last servant says to him, "Master, I knew you were a demanding person, harvesting where you did not plant and gathering where you did not scatter. So out of fear, I went off and buried your talent in the ground. Here is it back." The last servant is shunned, an outcast, for wasting the talent that was given to him. I felt as though I was that servant, bearing the talents that God had given me, if I were to walk away from wrestling while there was still time on the clock. I had so much fun this year. Wrestling was a privilege, not a chore. It was hard, as it should be. I'm so thankful for adversity. My last wrestling match of my life included an injury. I never qualified for an NCAA tournament. And if my foundation were based in wrestling, I may consider my career a failure. A piece of advice to the guys that still have time on the clock is 3 things. The first, figure out your foundation. For me, it's in Jesus Christ. If life was fair, we'd be on the cross. Wrestling ends, he never does. Invest in relationships hard. Don't just pick a person to mentor. Put your heart into every person, every situation, the most that you can. Not just teammates or other student athletes, everyone. It's not always easy, but I promise you that you reap what you sow. Lastly, is get involved and leave an impact. I may not have set a record or become a national champion, but I know that I'm not going to be a ghost on the wall. For me, maximizing my time here was critical. Multiple e-board and student organizations doesn't need to be the answer for everybody. But here's a cheat code. Show up, time and time again. Go to the game. Go to the meeting. Go have that conversation. Go play Monopoly. Go represent. Not just yourself, represent GVSU wrestling. Exemplify fish. Be a light. Be a Laker. Thank you all. Anchor up.